It's 3 o'clock. I'm going to call the meeting to order. All of you have a copy of the agenda in front of you. Sherry, have you met everyone at the table? I'm sorry.
Sherry Keller.
This is our new township trustee.
Jane Jones. And you are Sherry Keller.
She's our new township trustee, and she's taking Al Rosecrans' place on the committee.
Cheryl, true name. Everybody calls me Sherry. Cheryl.
Ben Barker.
Kim Alex. Nice to see you again.
And Nancy Horton.
All right, good. So, if you have a chance to look at the agenda, I'd like to know if you'd like to change anything, add anything, delete anything. Dennis?
Under 6D, Events and Community Engagement, Dennis, Kathy should be deleted.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
Kathy should be deleted.
Under 6D as in David?
Yes.
And what do you want?
Also, Dan's name should be there, and Nancy agreed to help us on our committee too.
Am I still needed?
Do we need her, or?
I don't think so in that,
Toward the end we might.
Oh yeah, we're all going to have to come on board
Later.
later.
At the end, they all will, yeah.
Right. Anything else to add to the
He
agenda?
wants Kathy deleted.
Excuse me?
He wants Kathy deleted. Kathy's no longer with us.
Right.
Ben's on this committee, correct?
Yeah, that's right.
Yep.
well, is he on the Events and Community Engagement Committee, or is he just on his fundraiser?
Oh.
You know what I'm saying?
What?
Is Ben on the Events and Community Engagement Committee, or is he just on the fundraiser subcommittee?
Ben? Welcome back. So,
Yay!
the question that we're grappling with right now that Kim is asking is, do you want to be on the Events and Community Engagement Subcommittee of the Senior Services Advisory Board, or do you just want to be on the Event Planning Committee?
For the fundraiser of Valley and County.
I guess I didn't totally understand what you want.
I assumed, and I could be wrong, that you wanted to serve on the Events and Community Engagement Subcommittee. Is that correct?
I can help out there
Yep.
if I know what's going on.
Yep. Yep.
We also have 2 other committees you can choose from. So it kind of depends on where you feel your expertise is and as to which community or which committee you want to be on.
I have no expertise.
Okay, back to the agenda. Any other changes? This is just the agenda. I move the adoption of the agenda. Is there a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Agenda is approved. Kim did the minutes for us last week because Kathy, last month, I should say, because Kathy left as of December 1st, I think. I'm not sure, but she's no longer on the committee. So she wouldn't be here today to present the minutes, so she didn't take the minutes, so Kim took the minutes. So I'd like to move for the adoption of the minutes and ask if there are any corrections.
Do I have to personally sign them? Don't I?
Excuse me?
Don't I need to personally sign the minutes too, not just put my name? So
Yes, they do when they're turned into Taylor.
Okay.
Yes, that's true. I think these are excellent, and I really appreciate the fact that Kim did them, and I would really like for us to, maybe in the new year, get a new secretary, when we begin the new terms, and perhaps we have additional members. So, all those in favor of approving the minutes say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Minutes are approved. Thank you so much. treasurer's report and flower fund. I guess Dana isn't here, so. Got anything to add to this at this point? Dana?
No changes at this point.
Right. Public comment. Marie, how are you today?
I'm doing pretty well, thank you.
Would you like to comment?
She's right.
Oh, thank you.
Did well.
I'm learning every time I get together with all of us. It was
You're here.
an eye-opener.
No public comments besides that. Thank you. Old business dashboard report. I really expected Taylor to be here today, but I guess she's busy. So we'll skip the dashboard report. PR and outreach. I still don't think we have any answer to guest meal passes at this point. Did you speak to Taylor about that, Nancy?
Did not.
I thought the guest meal passes were for if you can't get a meal that day and you show up. What are they? What are the guest meal passes to give to residents?
I think that was just the idea of trying to bring in more new people. If you know someone that has not been as a senior, that's local,
Well, then you could give them a meal pass. Oh, okay.
But it also is a good idea if we had meal passes and we didn't have enough food, they could get a meal pass for another meal. But we can't do that until we have meal passes.
I think that's a great idea.
I do too, yeah. Dennis?
I want to say, I think there needs to be some kind of accountability on these. In other words, the past should have a place where you put the name of the person and maybe the name of the person that gave it to them. Because if some of us have mutual friends, and let's say, I want to go give it to a neighbor, I think we should kind of limit it to the one per person. Well, Nancy has the same neighbor, she wants to go give them one. Well, if we have an accountability sheet where I sign out and say, I want to give it to Joe Blow, and Nancy says, well, I want to give one to Joe Blow, and she sees that I've already given him one, then we don't duplicate. So I think there's got to have someone to be in charge of a master sheet or something. I won't mention any names, Nancy, but whoever comes up with this great idea, but I think there needs to be some kind of accountability, and then Jenna, I think, needs to keep those so we can see which people are turning them in, make sure that Joe Blow doesn't turn in more than one, something like that.
Are these free?
A guest pass?
yeah.
I guess pass it.
Just we're trying to encourage people
Yeah,
who
yeah.
haven't been into the senior center to come in and have a
Right.
meal.
It's a great
I wasn't thinking of it as a complex issue, just a friend that you might give a meal pass to because you knew, or a neighbor that you knew hadn't ever been in, but would enjoy, or
Right.
it would be good for them to come to the senior center. But
I think it would be okay to have a line saying given by and put our name on there so that when they do show up at the senior center, they know who's giving out passes and who isn't. I don't know that it has to have the recipient on there.
So I think that the first thing we need to do is have Taylor agree that she will help us with the guest passes, and once we get that,
Is she going to print them?
that's her job. She's the communications person on our staff.
Have we asked her to print them?
We haven't discussed the passes with her yet.
Oh, okay.
If she were at the meetings, she would know, but she doesn't come to the meetings, so she doesn't know. So Nancy's going to talk with her about it.
Okay.
So it would be easier if she come in.
Hmm?
So it would be easier if she were here.
Right.
But I'll try to reach her.
Yeah. So if you would take one of each of these, they're like this, so just take the top one and move them on. And so the next thing we're going to talk about is the conversation, the community conversation. And what's going around right now are the invitations and the monkey survey. I see there's a picture of the monkey survey. And we have a timeline that I shared with the committee, but
Did you get,
Is there enough of them?
did you run another one?
should be 10. 2 pages.
Did you get what you wanted, Dennis?
Oh, yeah,
Oh,
I want to make sure Marie got
Oh, there.
Could we even have these that you could buy?
to support the center and say like, I want to buy some and give it to people, that should be optional.
Oh, yeah.
The meal package.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, Joey Lawton used to do that all the time. She
Well, that's
used
a
to
great idea.
buy some
Right.
tickets and give them out to people, sure.
Yeah,
I think it's shoot my ticket.
Well, actually, what she'd do is she'd say, come here and tell them to use my punch card, is what she would do. She'd buy a punch card with, 10 punches and,
Can actually be some little tickets if we're gonna print them that should be optional for me to pay for if I wanted to.
yeah.
could do that.
Just make that.
Sure.
So we are moving forward on the community conversation. As you can see from the invitation, it's scheduled for the 18th and the 19th of January, and then with the wrap-up session will be the 28th of January. So the social media post about the conversation, the invitation, should be out by the end of the week, should be up by the end of the week, as well as the monkey survey. That will be on Facebook, on the Bath Community News page, on the Bath website, on the Senior Center website, as well as on Nextdoor, and the township staff will be doing that. Postcard invitations would be mailed, or email invitations would be sent, and flyers would be out on January the 4th. The monkey survey closes on January the 8th. And then the conversations will take place. So these are, again, this is the invitation. I sent this out to the committee to look at. Kim responded, and she had some really great suggestions. So this is the draft 2 that we're looking at right now. I think that we still have to try to get people to understand that we're hosting 2 of these conversations, but you only have to come to one. It says underneath it, both meetings will be identical and held at the senior center, but I think it should say both meetings will be identical. You only need to attend one. Somehow, I think that people need to know that they only have to come to one of these conversations.
Okay, question.
Yes,
You
Nancy?
said these are gonna be mailed out, correct?
No, I did not.
How are these going?
This is going online
Okay.
by the end of the week. So it'll be on social media, Facebook, the Bath community page, the Bath website, township website, the senior center website.
So it's all gonna be,
The invitation and the monkey survey will be posted by the end of the week,
posted where?
online.
Online. Is that the only way to see them?
Oh, no.
Online?
Oh, no.
Because I have people asking.
I know, I sent you the timeline, which says then that by the 4th of January, postcards and broad email invitations will be specific to specific people will be either mail or email for January 4th. So this will be online, so you can point people to the invitation online.
Most of our seniors aren't gonna be doing online.
Oh, I know. We have everybody's address from the senior center, so they'll get a postcard in the mail, everyone from the senior center, and everyone who came to our open house at the senior center will get a postcard invitation, which will be sent out on the 4th of January. We had talked about flyers and putting flyers up around town. So those would have to go up that week as well, the flyers. I do have a woman who's willing to design the illustration for the flyer for the price of her ink cartridges. So in other words, she's donating the artwork for the flyer.
What if we are aware of someone that came to the open house, free lunch, and they passed away? Who do we tell that so that an invitation doesn't go out to them?
Jenna, she has all those people on an email. I mean,
Just let Jenna know.
yeah, she did spreadsheet with all those
Okay.
people who attended. Yeah. So again, the only change I would make to this, you are invited to share your opinion, is that somehow we need to emphasize that they only need to come to one meeting.
What did you think when I suggested that it's not clear to me on this invitation that you have to be not a non-senior to attend? It doesn't seem to me that this really says all people welcome. It keeps saying senior, senior, senior. I kind of think, well, as soon as I see senior services, I think I don't need to be part of that. I'm, 42 years old. I'm going to throw it in the mail, or in the trash, but in the meantime, we want a diverse group that shows up. We want those people that aren't necessarily the elderly. I didn't see anything in here that says anything about who the target audience is,
It's the elderly. It's people over
Just leave
55.
it at that? Okay.
Well, I mean, I would include, and I did in one of my drafts, people who are caregivers for older people, people who are disabled, who are, physically disabled. I mean, we're interested in all opinions,
Yeah.
so I'm trying not to be
It's open to everybody.
restricted. Oh, yeah, anybody can come. Our target audience, of course, is anybody in the township who is over the age of 55, but it's not restricted to those people in any way.
So then maybe should this be changed? What should we do to make township senior services activities or facilities more vibrant, fulfilling, and engaging for seniors? Or how about just for the community?
I think that's wrong. I think we need to know how we can make it more engaging for seniors.
Okay.
That's my opinion.
What if you were to add the word Wednesday or Thursday?
Oh, that would be,
Wednesday or Thursday,
yeah, that would be a really good change.
And then you've got, both meetings will be identical, so.
Right, right.
Dana's not going to be here.
Hmm?
Dana's not going to be here, she'll figure out.
What at the top you put, you're all invited to share your opinion.
Sorry,
At
Shay.
the top, if you wrote, you are all invited, as to her point, rather than at least somewhere put, non-seniors, you're all invited, everyone. 'Cause
Everyone
rather
is
than,
invited.
yeah, everyone, yeah. because
Oh,
you're-
that's good. I'll make that. Everyone's invited. That way, maybe you're a senior and you wanted your daughter to take you, and she's like, I don't know, it's not for me. And it
Right.
says, no, it says everyone's invited. I think that's good.
Well, I don't want to be overwhelmed with people who aren't, who aren't,
They're not only going to show up if they have an opinion of the senior center.
Right, if they have a relative or.
They're only going to show up if they want their voice to be
so
heard.
I've heard two suggestions. You are all invited, and the other one is everyone's invited.
I like that, I like that better, yeah.
I do too.
I have another question about it. I don't know if you want me.
Go ahead.
I'm not quite following the theory behind the deadline of January 8th, the monkey survey. I think they're just closing in on, Christmas and New Year's and busyness. And for the monkey survey to end on January 8th, I just think that's kind of pushing it. And you and I talked a little bit about when are those surveys going to be presented and how are they going to be presented. And it seems to me that Doak will have access to all those surveys prior to January 18th and 19th for the people that have responded. But mostly we want them in by the 19th so that he can then formulate his report for us on the 28th. Right? So,
No, stop right there. Sorry, but he doesn't want them on the 19th. He wants them before we have the conversations so that he can take the input from those people who aren't going to be able to be there and kind of filter it into the conversations that's happening as they're happening. And if he doesn't get those by the 8th, then he doesn't have time to simulate them, to identify exactly what the trends are, what they're saying, and categorize them, and organize them so that he can make them a part of the conversation that we have.
Okay, I'm gonna agree with you, but I wanna also just put it out there because, you know, that's why we have a group. That if I get an email and it's got these survey questions for the monkey survey, I'm the kind of person that's just gonna fill it out right now, right? There's gonna be those people that are gonna fill it out right now, and there's gonna be those people that procrastinate. The people that procrastinate are gonna want that extra 2 weeks, and you know what I'm saying?
Well, they can come to that conversation.
You just might miss that.
I have a suggestion also for the second line on the invitation, the
Wait, can
back.
we just do one topic at a time?
Oh, okay.
Just one topic at a time.
I thought you were done with it, sorry.
Well, we haven't solved anything.
Oh, no, I just want it to be heard. You didn't have to agree or not. I'm just saying, I get what you're saying, that you want to offer up community input at those forums, because that's an important part of the forum. But I'm wondering if you're gonna miss people because you had such a fast deadline around the holidays. That's all. I'm not saying you have to agree with me, Judy. I'm just saying human nature and how things work with people. There's people that don't get notifications that they have emails, and they only look at it once a week or once every 2 weeks, or Nancy, raise your hand, once a year.
Well, the survey closure date should be highlighted. That should be highlighted. And it is for those who are unable to attend. So there really isn't a reason why it can't be done by January 8th.
It's not even in here, in the invitation, that deadline on it, is it?
No,
It's
because
just on your
that's for the
sheet.
That's
input.
on the survey.
This is the survey thing.
Yeah, so when you click on the survey, it'll show that there's a January 8th deadline to fill it out?
I don't know, I've never made a monkey survey, I don't know how it works.
It's right in here.
Where?
The survey
It's on this piece right
January
here.
8th. Highlighted.
But I'm saying on the invitation.
No, I'm not talking about that, I'm talking about this one.
What is that?
See,
Shows
there's
what
a
the
survey.
questions are. I'm saying if you get this as an invitation in your email, you don't even know that you have to respond to the survey by the 8th because it's not mentioned in the invitation.
You don't have to respond by the 8th to this invitation.
No,
That's two separate things. This is an invitation to come, this is a survey.
For input.
See, if you are unable to attend either meeting and would like to have your input, you can give your thoughts on it by answering a few questions at the following link. And that will link you to this survey.
Yeah, so I'm looking at that link and it's January 12th.
She wants the deadline on the invitation.
And then I'm
If
like,
you're
oh,
unable to
that
attend, we
survey
should.
is already closed, and I didn't know I only had the 8th to fill out the monkey
So
survey.
just add that to
We
before the
need
link
the
following.
deadline.
She has more than one objection. That's not her only objection. Her other objection is that the data, she feels that the information presented during the meeting will be skewed by the people who do the survey before they come to the meeting. And so, that's not what you're saying. It's not.
This is if you're unable to attend the meeting.
Right.
Here's the survey, and we need to give them a deadline of January 8th, the same as on this one.
Right.
I think that's it, because if you're unable to attend, if you're able to attend, you're not going to fill out the survey.
Right. Would hope not.
So it shouldn't. We
Well, you
shouldn't.
might.
Yeah, you might.
Might, why not?
But the other option is for me to ask Joe if he got the survey results at the same time as the last meeting closed, which is the 19th, if he could still crunch the data from the survey along with the data from all the data from the conversations and have it be melded into the validation survey, rather than using the data from the survey before the conversations begin to make the conversations fuller.
I say, you're going to have to help me with this. Isn't the township the ones that are going to give the summary of the monkey surveys? I thought that Taylor was going to be offering up something to Doak that's already organized.
The township has a contract for monkeys. They have contract for monkey surveys, so.
That's it, they're just offering the software. They're not gonna be doing the data computation at all. Okay.
They're collecting the data, they're putting up the survey, they're collecting the data, and they're giving Doak access to that survey that is on their account.
All right. So I'm saying that the surveys that were received by January 8th, Doak can take those, let's say there's 25, and put it together with something to get started with the forums, but then have some stragglers still be available to respond to the survey by the 19th, so they're still included in that end meeting, but that they didn't lose an opportunity to speak up because of 2 weeks of the deadline. I'm just saying there's 2 windows. One window of what surveys have been returned by January 8th, so Doak can use those to prompt discussion at the forums. And then another one, those received after the 8th to the 19th, have them be part of that last meeting conversation report.
I'll ask him about that. But on this, it needs to say, if we decide there is a deadline, that there is a deadline.
January 8th is the deadline.
Deadline for what?
Yeah.
Completing the monkey survey.
Which is this, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Please have questions.
Okay, you just add where it says you can give us thoughts by answering a few questions at the following link by January 8th.
Yeah.
Can we just add by January 8th?
Yeah, absolutely. If that's the deadline we're looking at, then, and then anything else. And if it's not, then it's understood that the window of the monkey survey is closed by the January 19th because we've had those other meetings. It's just understood, so.
So, for instance, I'm developing, for our outreach, I'm developing contacts with all of the housing developments in the area. So there's condos and HOAs, and so I've contacted all of the subdivisions that have HOAs and gotten their presidents and their secretaries to agree that once we get the invitation via email to them, they will send it out to all of their property owners in their subdivision.
Awesome. That's
Right.
wonderful.
Right, so I have about 10 of them so far, and I've talked to all of them individually. Now we need to talk to all the pastors the same way, get them an invitation, see if they'll put it on their bulletin board when we get flyers up, if they'll put it in their bulletin, if they have a bulletin that they could put it in, and how many they might want, how many invitations they might want printed for their bulletins, or maybe they just want them outside in the social hall. So each of you do you have the ministers? No,
I think Dana did.
Dana has the ministers.
When will these be available to post?
January 4th, no, sorry, by Friday,
By when?
hopefully by Friday.
This week.
Okay, where will they be? Because I need to pick up one for Dutch Hills.
Oh, the flyers will not be ready. We'll have flyers. The invitations, like if you could pick up an invitation and take it to someone, they'll be available January 4th.
Telling them the meeting is the 18th and the 19th. Okay, January 4th.
So when I went to Oak Island Village, I didn't even think about having them put it as part of an email. I just asked for the person that would be coming to that event, the meeting.
No, we need to get those people who live in Oak Island, who are the management people, to get
Okay.
it out to the people in there, Oak Island, who would benefit from coming.
Am I allowed to speak now?
Yes.
Okay. The second line of the invitation. The Bath Township Senior Services Advisory Board is looking for ideas. Can we add from our community? Would that make people feel like we're not just asking seniors, but we are asking other people?
No, that would be fine. Ideas from the community, did you say?
From our community.
Uh-huh. So Ben, do you think that we should refer to these as community conversations? Or do you think we should refer to them as community meetings?
Conversations.
Conversation. I want to say that too, but you address it to Ben, so.
Because that's what it is a conversation.
Right, it's not really a meeting. Okay. Any other, so I have everyone invited to share your opinion. The Bath Township Senior Services Advisory Board is looking forward to ideas from our community. Putting the or between Wednesday or Thursday. If you're unable to attend, you can give us your thoughts by answering a few questions. The following link by January 8th. So those are the changes. All right, great. Thank you so much.
And you're going to put the township website down here?
Oh yeah, Taylor will do that.
What is this www.surveymonkey.com/r? What's the
Well, if you had gone to that right now, or when we started talking about this a month ago, after Doug had come on board, he put the monkey survey up there so you could try it. But this will not be the email link to the monkey survey. The email link to the monkey survey will be the township's link to the monkey survey. But don't put that up there just so we can see how it worked. Okay. Thank you all very much.
So just to clarify, so the link, the correct link will be in here.
Oh, for sure.
On here, okay.
Yeah, that is not the correct link. This is just all draft. All right, services and activities. Nancy, do you have anything to say about activities at this point?
Not really.
Did you go to Frankenmuth?
Yes, we did.
When was that?
I remember.
In November?
Yeah.
How many people
It
went?
was November 15th, it was opening day of deer hunting.
Was it? Good job, yeah. How many of us went? Let's see, Dana, myself, Linda, and Cheryl. That was only 4 of us.
And did you use the van?
No, we did not. Was not available to us.
Thank you. Community events. Events and community engagement. How are we doing? I'm so excited.
And we have made huge strides going forward with all of our planning and all the information that we've been able to gather in the last 3 weeks. It's been huge. Our biggest exciting thing was going out to Charlotte. There was a group of 6 of us to see the Kenny Rogers impersonator that we've hired in at the end of April. We saw how the stage looked, what people were, and he had a full band for it on the soundtrack. They had 775 seats in their auditorium. 179 people showed up. The tickets were $17 each. They had a full band, so it cost them $3,500. Then, based on their ticket sales of over 200, I figured out that they probably had less than 4,000 in sales, and they only netted $460. They don't offer concessions, and they didn't offer a program, so we reached out to the printing company and got a copy of the Elvis impersonator program from 4 years ago, along with a copy of the tickets that they put together for us, and they are very impressive. They did a great job 4 years ago, so we're just going to work with them and the township to put together something just as lovely. We went out to the school this week. There was 4 of us there, and we do have a final count on the seats, handicap, portable chairs, and seats within the building, or the auditorium. We did put together a diagram of the common area and the entrances to the auditorium and the school to have a layout of where we want the tables and where we want concessions versus silent auction. We also saw this week that there is a ticket booth that has an actual window like you would see at a professional theater. So we got permission to use that, and we were excited about that. We found out that the promotion picture that's just beautiful is actually the Valley that we hired. It's just an old picture of her. So she doesn't look quite the same, but that is a really bright and festive picture that we can use to for the promotion. Mm-hmm. And anybody else have anything to add to that? We had a really good meeting just before this one where we talked about timeline. Jean was really good about keeping us on task with that, and talked a little bit about concessions and ticket and how it's going to look.
I wanted to mention that I spoke to Cindy Crouch. She's going to be doing the outreach for getting advertising and getting donations for the sale.
The silent auction.
The silent auction. She would ask that if any of you want to contact someone that you might have, close relations with or something like that, please let her know so she doesn't double it, so she doesn't also go see them. So let her know that you're going to go see, Frank's nursery or whatever, just so that you don't double dip. Don't bother them that much. We also decided we're going to open the silent auction at 5:30 instead of 6 like we did before, because we expect a lot more people to be there. So there's going to be a lot more people milling around, so we figured we needed that extra half hour in there.
And the big news is we had a meeting last week, was it with Karen? Mm-hmm. And we had several questions addressed right away. She was able to clarify a lot of things, and the biggest one was that the township has agreed to prepare 400 cookies if needed, depending on our ticket sales, for us to sell as a fundraiser. So we were very excited about that.
And the other big thing was that they now have an ice maker over there, so we don't have to buy the ice. They're going to make the ice for us, for the drinks. Apparently.
It's in the garage. It's in the workshop, in the
DPW that we had.
DPW.
It's in the DPW it's in the DPW area.
Okay. Greg has a question.
Just one very quick question. Kim, when you said you had the final count for the auditor, what is that?
As far as the numbers go,
The number of seats?
we've been over there.
Whatever you're telling.
Yeah, the number of seats that are available.
Yeah.
At the junior high.
What I did was I put together a spreadsheet, and it shows that there's 457 seats, 5 handicap, and overflow chairs of 14.
The seats that are available.
No, I'm looking at the size going,
I can give it to you.
you have it.
Yeah,
That's really
Yeah,
good.
an extra one also.
yeah.
No, that's. Now, I was just curious as to what you had. So you need 457 to fill up, plus your handicap, plus your overflow. Got it?
Mhm.
Cool. Okay.
And then Dennis is working on the business plan, and so that was an important part of being able to go forward with that. To know how many seats were available.
Cool.
So,
Thank you.
you're welcome.
Anyone have any questions for Kim? I think it's coming along very well.
Yeah,
And I'm so impressed with the pace at which you're moving forward and what you're getting accomplished and all the nuts and bolts and things that go into this. It's very detailed work. It's very important. I was really, really pleased that Gary was able to help us at ASAP Printing. They're just a great company.
for sure.
Even if, Dennis, I know you were talking to Karen about the ticket, even they would take your ideas at ASAP Printing and they would develop it into a ticket. They would take the pictures of Dolly and Kenny that Kim has, and they would put it right on that ticket for you. I
Okay.
mean, they're amazing, and you need to just trust that they can do whatever you need to have them do for you.
Well, he said he only needs, like a week's wiggle room to be able to print things out.
Right. There are certain times of the year they're a little bit more backed up, but in April it'd be pretty good. They're not going to be that backed up. Well, May, April, March, we're talking March, right? When we
No,
get the
we're talking
ticket.
about having the final mock-up of the ticket by February 1st and having it available at the end of February so that we can start selling.
Start selling tickets at the end of February. Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
We said something about Valentine's gifts, though, didn't we?
About what?
Valentine's gifts or Mother's Day or something. Maybe we want them sooner so that it could be in Grandma's Valentine's card or something. I don't know.
We didn't
I was
talk
also
about
gonna
that today.
I was also going to say that during the conversation, we have 85 to 100 people there. There's no reason that we couldn't do some preliminary advertising for the, have a, save the date, Dolly and so-and-so are coming, Dolly and Kenny Rogers are coming to the Bath Auditorium, save the date, just a little thing on, that just kind of announces it that people could take with them, just to, even if the goal was to have that at the Saturday, the wrap-up session, there'll be more people at the Wednesday and Thursday than will come to the wrap-up session, but it might be good to have save the date kind of stuff out there for that.
Yeah, I think we can't get that done, too soon. I think we need to try to figure some of that out for sure.
Anything else, Kim?
I think that's it. Jean, Ben, anything?
I think we covered it.
Okay.
It's great, I think, too, that Cindy Kronk is going to help us with that silent auction.
Mhm.
She's such a go-getter, she's so good at what she does, and she's amazing, and it's great to have her on the team.
She did say she's not going to start approaching people until after the first of the year.
Right, and I'll reach out to her, too. I haven't talked to her in a while, and
Okay.
I just want to express my appreciation to her for that. Anything else on the event?
We were going to invite her to come to the January meeting.
Senior Services Advisory Board meeting or the pre-meeting? That's a good idea.
I've actually invited her 2 times, but she's always been busy.
So we're going to try for Monday that she's available.
All right. Anything else on the event? Marie, did you want to say anything about the event?
Oh, no, you guys are doing a great job.
Well, I noticed that you say, how will we handle ticket sales and money? And that was one of the questions that we talked about with Karen, and she said that board members can get the tickets and sell them on their own and then turn the money in, along with at the senior center, Jenna and Linda, and the township also sell tickets too.
Right. That was great meeting with Karen, and she said that Jenna will help with the event, the musical event, that we can count on her to help us with that. She didn't give me details, and she said that she will, Jenna will also be helping with the community conversation. She will serve as the hostess, to help us with the building and signing people in and registering people. And that we should feel free to use Jenna at any time for anything that we want or need, as long as we let Karen or Taylor know what it is we're asking her to help us with. All right, well, I think we already talked about E, so I did that up under 6B, so I guess that was a duplication. And we've also talked about the outreach timeline for the conversation. So now G is Christmas, and I want to report that thanks to Marie and Nancy and the staff at the Senior Center and Christy at the Police Department, we were able to provide baskets to about 18 of our seniors. And we went, after you talked with us about that, Marie, we went to Christy and she gave us the criteria, and then Nancy and Linda and Mary and I talked about who might be eligible at the Senior Center given the criteria, put that list together, gave it to the police department. We were within a half an hour of their deadline, made it under the wire, and then they all got delivered. I think it was last Saturday. I just want to tell you what this one of the ladies at the senior center said to me the other day. She got one of our baskets, and I just happened to sit down at lunch with her, and was talking, catching up, because I haven't been in there for a while. And she said, "Do you know the sweetest thing happened to me the other day?" I said, "Well, what was that?" She said, I had a knock at my door, and I went to the door, and there was this handsome policeman standing in front of me. She was incredible. She said, and then he handed me a tub full of the most amazing things that I could use every day. It was just like Christmas, she said. And then she said, and I just want you to know that I'm 86 years old, and I've lived in a lot of places in my life. And because of the senior center, I have never been happier.
Oh, that's what all that was.
Pretty incredible. Pretty incredible. So I just wanted to follow up with everyone so that we express our appreciation to Marie for connecting us with the right number of people. Thank you so much. We will have a little bit of we will discuss Christmas a little bit further, but it will be after we adjourn because we're on tape. New business, is there any new business? I don't see any new business. Superintendent's not here. Cheryl, would you like to give us a BAB trustees report? What's been going on up there on the dais? Maybe Marie could read.
No, that's your thing. I'm brand new to all of this. Thank you guys for having me here. I'm learning as I sit here.
How many meetings have you been to?
2 officially and 2 unofficially before that.
They discussed a lot of things related to planning at the last meeting, didn't they?
Yeah.
And Kim was reappointed to our board at the last meeting. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
That was appropriate.
All right. So, is there any additional public comment? Free?
No.
All right. Gonna call for the meeting to adjourn. Is there a call for adjournment?
I call to adjourn.
Is there a second? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Meeting's adjourned.